Good morning. Welcome to Frank's School. This is a little different because I'm filming in the daytime, so the light may be quite different. I mean, usually I teach my online courses at 5 in the morning, sometimes 6. But in any case, I decided today I wanted to have Gloss step in and comment. Remember, Gloss is making commentary on the first, well, I'll probably go the whole way through Frank's School. This is the 6-year, 101st day first video, and I'm calling it Gloss from the first year at 94th day first video up through the first year 111th day second video. And during this time there were several things that went on, but I do want to point out that in real time here in this 6th year I had Gloss jump. I went to the Advent calendar of hymns and carols, QV. It's a playlist, and you could go look at it. And I decided to go to it because it was Advent. This is in real time again, or at least today's time. This is December, and it's in the season of Advent. And one thing that I don't know if I'd forgotten this or not, but I don't just give the hymns and the carols, selected ones, and discuss what they mean in the music. I also pull out vocabulary, and I pull out a sentence to diagram, the syntax. So I use that as one might use it in a school if you are allowed. Now, in a public school, literature that is so Christian probably would not really be correct, ethical, maybe to use, I don't know. But if it were, say, a Catholic school or a private school, then you could do that. You could pull these sentences out and analyze the syntax and analyze the vocabulary. Now, I've changed that class vocabulary to words. I've done that recently. But there was, in my quest for words that I could show that technique with, I was using, or at least I was showing words that I would use. All right, now that's today, or recently. But back in the first year, during that period, I went through Norse, or Viking, literature, mythology at least, Arabic and Islam sort of together, and then Spanish, histories. But I'm not a history teacher. I was just touching on the really high points, the way they pertain to the humanities, some of them. I mean, you can only do so much. But then that brought me to Spanish. And one of the things I was doing was introducing my students, 14-year-olds say, to 13 and 14 to the study of foreign languages. And first Spanish. I go Spanish, French, Latin, and eventually German. Maybe I put German before Latin. Anyway, my teaching of Spanish, introducing it, it's almost untested as far as how successful it is. When I look at the number of views that are there, typically there's maybe 30 or maybe 40. So I doubt very much if there are students of Spanish or teachers of Spanish that are choosing my way to introduce it. So almost untested. But as I was going to say this, so I don't know how good it is or not, but then just a little bit ago I had this horrible memory of a teacher swap that I did several years. I mean, part of my exposing them to Spanish was I'd see if I could get the teacher at the high school to change places with me. And then they could meet the teacher, and that teacher could actually teach them a little Spanish, a real Spanish teacher. And in the process, I got to see some of my former students again at the high school. Well, anyway, to my horror, I experimented, and I gave the high school kids the same test that I had just given to my students in 8th grade. And that after teaching 3 weeks maybe of Spanish, a vocabulary of about 80 words. And I say horrible because many of them failed it. How could that be? I mean, they were second year Spanish, or first and second year Spanish students, and then third and fourth were put together into one class. And I gave it to all of them. And I even had, that was a very tiny class, the third and fourth year students. There might have only been 6 kids in that class. But I think I had one of them, fourth year Spanish student, that failed it. Now how can that be? It was really a horrible memory. In terms of the wasted time that occurred, it's there's a reason. I only just thought of it 15 minutes ago or a half hour ago, but I think I made some calculation that they had maybe sat in 500 class periods of Spanish, maybe, and I had had my students in maybe 15 class periods of Spanish, and these were the most common, among the most common Spanish words that there were. You saw, if you did this, you saw how easy that I made that quiz, and I hope you felt it was easy. But anyway, it really was a horrible memory in terms of wasted time and discouragement about learning a foreign language. So I don't know. Maybe in the future this will get further tested and somebody will try it out. But one other thought related to that. I have always, for some reason I can't really explain, shied away from teaching Portuguese online. I'm thinking about doing it because I have at least one young friend who would like to learn Portuguese, he thinks. And if I do that, I think I'll start the same way. I'll just give that same stupid little conversation in Portuguese. And after that, I don't know what I would do. But I still think it seems to me the best way to get somebody into the language and speaking it. Well, you can see my cats help me. I guess that'll be it for today. Bye for now.